Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So this is another video in my end of the year wrap up series. This is going to be my top 10 performing brands of 2020. So now before I get into these brands, let's just talk about what my reselling business model is, because everybody has different reselling business models and that's really gonna determine whether you think these are good performing brands or not. So basically I am a binge shopper and I go to thrift stores that cost about $2 for every item of clothing. So I buy cheap and I sell cheap. I'm a bread and butter seller. That's just kind of the way I like to run my business, and it's just kind of what's most practical for me based on the inventory that I find. So yeah, these are all kind of bread and butter brands first. So we'll get that out of the way. And then secondly, I wanted to have certain criteria for what made things the best performing brands of 2020. And basically what I did, and these do not include December sales. I'm filming this in December. It would be unfair to include the items I listed and sold in December just because the year is not over yet. So this is everything from January to November. So about 11 months worth of data we have here. So I wanted my average sales price for those 11 months was $22, which again, I'm perfectly fine with considering I get my inventory at the bins, $2 thrift stores, and I get a lot of donations as well. So there's that. $22, that's great. And then I wanted them to have an over 50% sell-through rate, and actually most of them, at least the ones in the top 20, and then we get an honorable mention, so it's a little different, but in the top 10 that I have here that I really wanted to focus on, they were all above 60% sell-through rate, so that's pretty good. Well, yeah, 60%, not 6%. A 60% sell-through rate, which is really great. And then I also wanted to have a minimum of how much I sold and listed. So I wanted to sell a minimum of 10 of the items of the brand to really talk about it. Now, most of them I have sold, let's see, I had listed and sold 25 plus. But I just made it 10 because I included Jam's World in here, which I only listed 13 of the items and I sold 10 of them. So I just wanted to include that in there. So anyway, those are kind of the criteria that I wanted to have to talk about these brands. Again, all these brands require more nuance than just kind of the brief numbers I'm going to give you, but this is a good starting point if you kind of want to know what something's selling for or what the sell-through rate of a brand is. This is just kind of a good indicator of what your average reseller is going to find out in thrift stores. Again, but thrift stores always kind of depend on your area as well. I live in an area where there's a lot of older people, so I tend to find a lot of Eileen Fisher, Soft Surroundings, Flax, whatever brands that do well on eBay just because of the demographic of my area. But then you see these resellers that live in Portland and they're finding a lot of Revolve brands and outdoor brands. So it's really depends on your area what's going to be your bread and butter brands as well. So yeah, let's just get into it because we have lots to talk about. So the first brand, and these are also in no specific order either. Okay, the first brand we're going to talk about is Anthropology, one that everybody loves to talk about, everybody loves to find, and whatever. So let's get into what are the real numbers on Anthropology. So I listed 125 Anthropology pieces this year, and I had sold 76 of those items, giving me a sell-through rate of 61%. So my lowest dollar Anthropology sale was $7, and then my highest Anthropology sale was $300, which is a really big difference. And it just really depends on the inventory you're picking up. So if I don't know what that $7 sale was, maybe it was just a basic shirt or whatever, basic Diletta piece, whatever, and it went for $7 because it wasn't worth very much. But then that $300 sale was a new Attacks Papo dress that had retailed for $650, and I bought it for $100, sold it for $300. So that is not obviously an everyday Anthropology sale. That's just a rare piece that you're gonna find out there. So yeah, so the two data points I'm gonna share with you guys today is the average sales price and kind of the median sales price, which the median is if you take your lowest number, highest number, you put them all in order, what is that middle price point? And people like to look at that as well because again, your average sales price is going to be thrown off by these outliers. Obviously that $300 sale was an outlier, and most of my Anthropology pieces don't even sell for $100, so that's obviously going to affect things. So yeah, I'm just going to share both of those with you guys, as well as the lowest and the highest sale and the sell-through rate. So yeah, the average sales price I had for Anthropology was $26, and then that middle selling price was $20. And again, these are sold prices, they are not payouts, they're just what the dollar amount sold for on Poshmark, eBay, Mercari. Yeah, so I did not include my payouts. So every site has a different payout. Poshmark takes 20% fees, eBay, I don't even know what their fees are. They're between 11 and 15%. I have no idea, they're somewhere in that range. And then Mercari was 10% for most of the year, and then towards the end of the year it became 12.9% plus a 30% transaction fee. So there is that. Okay, so Anthropology, I would continue to pick it up. It has a 61% sell-through rate. That's pretty decent. It's one of my lower ones on this list, but it's still pretty good. And I would just continue to pick it up at the bins on my $2 thrift stores. I would try to stay away from it from over $2 unless it is a really special piece. So and there's that. Oh yeah, like another Anthropology piece I sold this year, I bought for $20 and I sold it for $80. So I mean, again, these brands require a little bit more nuance, a little bit more detail and thoroughness, but again, this is just a good overview of them. All right, the next brand we're going to talk about is Eileen Fisher. So I listed 50 pieces of Eileen Fisher, and then I sold 37 of those items, which left me with a 74% sell-through rate, which is great. I really like that. Eileen Fisher, I always say it's a good seller, and there's the numbers to prove it's a good seller. I honestly liked doing this video, like preparing the numbers for this video, because it really made me analyze like what I say in like my business, because I'm always saying like, oh, this is a good brand, this is a good brand, whatever, but like this is actually telling me like what the real sell-through rate for these brands are, because I kind of thought, I mean, 74 is great and I'm super happy with it, but I kind of would have thought that the sell-through rate would have been more like 80%, because I feel like whenever I list Eileen Fisher, it sells on eBay pretty quickly, and I would have guessed it more in the 80% range, but it's 74%. Again, still really good. So the lowest dollar sale I had was $6 and the highest was $64. So I actually had sold Eileen Fisher for higher. In 2019, I sold a jacket for like $125. It was like a goat or lamb suede jacket, whatever it was, and I went for $125. So I mean, you can get more than $64. This is just kind of what I found this year. But yeah, so my average sold price was about $28, which I think is really great, and the median sold price was $25. $25, $28, they're really not that far off, and I think that is just, it's really good. I like that, and I'm actually, though I'm saying I like it, but also I'm kind of surprised. I literally thought it was going to be higher, but okay, that's fine. It's still good. I'm still happy with it, so. All right, now we're going to talk about Free People, which was actually kind of similar to my Anthropology numbers, to be honest. So Free People, I had listed 95 Free People items, and I sold 58 of those items. So the lowest Free People piece I sold was $7, and the highest one was $100. Now, with Free People, that $100 price point, that was actually, I actually had a few sales that were kind of like $50 and above in Free People. So yeah, that kind of made my average sale price about $28, and I also had a good amount of low dollar sales in Free People. It's just one of those brands that you can just, the price points are all over for them. It just really depends on the piece. But you also have to look at the brand and where they sell it. They sell it at the regular Free People stores for like $100 to a couple $100, but then they also sell it at TJ Maxx and Marshalls for like $15 to $40. And then they also sell it at Macy's, and then it gets clearance out on the Macy's Last Act rack, which you can get it for like $10 to $15 on the Last Act clearance. So the price points in the retail stores are all over the place, so therefore your reselling prices are also going to be all over the place for this brand. So my average sold price for Free People was $28, and that median sales price was $24. Again, considering where I get my inventory from, I am perfectly happy with those numbers, and they are above my average sold price, so that's really great. Okay, now we're going to get into J. Crew. So J. Crew, I picked up a ton of it this year. I had listed 82 J. Crew items this year, and I sold 54 of those items that I listed, which left me with which left me with a sell-through rate of 66%, which is good. Anything over 50% I think is good. I think, right? Over 50% is good, so 66% is pretty good in my opinion. The lowest sale I had was $8, and the highest sale I had was $150. Now, the $150 sale was, again, an outlier. I think you're more likely to sell a J. Crew piece. I mean, the average J. Crew pieces you're going to pick up in the thrift store, I feel like you are more likely to sell it for $8 than you are $150. That $150 was a melt and wool top coat. This I found at a thrift store. I got it for $10, sold for $150. It's a sought after piece. It's something that retails for a lot on the J. Crew website, hence you're going to get a good amount for it in resale value. So, and plus I sold it in January with the perfect time to wear the coat itself, which also I think kind of increased the value because they could wear it right then and there. So yeah, that is again an outlier, which, you know, could affect the average sales price. So the average sales price I had for J. Crew was about $22, and that middle sales price was $20. So again, I'm going to continue to pick it up as it is. I only really pick it up at my $2 thrift store or the bins, unless it's new with tags. I might pay up for it, but yeah, in general, those are the price points I get it at. So for me, that's a pretty decent sold price. It's actually, the average sold price is right at my average sold price for all my brands combined, so that's fine. All right, the next brand we're going to talk about is Lilly Pulitzer. I live in Florida. I tend to find a good amount of Lilly Pulitzer, although it comes in waves. Like, I'll go like a month where I find a ton of it, and then the next month I won't. I don't know, it's weird. It goes in waves. But I had listed 44 Lilly items, and I had sold 33 of those items. So the lowest dollar sale for Lilly was about $10, and I think that was actually a bikini top that I've had for quite a long time. So there's that. And then my highest dollar Lilly sale this year was $65. I have sold Lilly for higher than $65, but again, that was in 2019, and we're just talking about 2020. So the highest one was about $65. Again, that's a pretty big difference. It just really depends on the pieces, what year the pieces were. Lilly has on the inside of their clothes, they have like date tags, so it'll tell you the year the item like came out or whatever. Obviously, the more current the piece, the more money you're gonna have. Lilly is now being sold heavily, at least at my TJ Maxx commercials. Maybe that's because I live in Florida, so they send it like here. If you maybe live, I don't know, in New York, maybe you won't see as much Lilly at your TJ Maxx commercials. I find a lot of it, so that can also affect the sales price now that is more available at a $40 price point in a retail setting. So my average sales price was about $27, and then that median price was about $25. So that's like really not that far off. It's only a $2 difference. So yeah, I'm gonna continue. And oh, I had a 75% sell-through rate. Did I say that? I'm going over so many numbers. It's just like, I don't know. But it has a really good sell-through rate. I'll continue to pick it up and, you know, pay up for certain pieces, and then other pieces, you know, kind of only get them at the bins. So the next brand we're going to talk about is Lululemon. So I had a really good year with Lululemon. I had listed 26 Lululemon items, and I sold 26 Lululemon items, which gave me a 100% sell-through rate, which is amazing. So everyone talks about Lululemon again. It's one of those like buzzword brands, whatever, that people love to mention. Oh, Lululemon does so great. Well, here it is, 100% sell-through rate. It did really well this year. But now let's look at the average sold price and that median sold price, because the average was $28 and the median was $25, which is still pretty good. But like, it's not, when I think Lululemon, I wouldn't think that my average sold price would be about $28. But again, it depends on the pieces. Are they rare? Are they more common? What's the condition of the pieces, and what are you selling? Are you selling more leggings? Are you selling more tank tops? If you're selling tank tops and sports bras, which I sell more of those because that's what I find more frequently, you're gonna get a lower price point than if you're just selling like leggings and like, what, I don't even know the names of leggings, you know, like the high-waisted ones, whatever, the special patterns, whatever. Obviously you're gonna get more money for that. So my lowest Lululemon sale was $10, and my highest Lululemon sale was $70. Now that $70 sale was actually a two-piece set that I put in the same listing, so I guess you could say like $35 and $35 for those. It was a matching bra and legging set. So there's that. All right, the next brand we're going to talk about is Soft Surroundings. This is another brand I find a good amount of it. I listed 41 Soft Surroundings pieces, and I sold 29 of them. So this is another one of those brands that I thought my sell-through rate would be higher. The sell-through rate was 71%, still really good, but I just kind of thought it would be higher, but that's fine. I'm still happy with that. And I also kind of thought that my average sold price would be higher for this brand as well. But first, we're going to get into the lowest. So the lowest sale I had was $12.59, but that was clearly an eBay sales because, you know, $12.59. And then the highest sale that I had was $50. So the average sales price for Lululemon was about $26, and that median price was $22. And I said Lululemon, but I meant Soft Surroundings. So $26 and $22, like a $4 difference. I'll still continue to pick it up. 71% sell-through rate. That's still pretty good. And yeah, again, and I didn't break down where these brands sold specifically, but if I was to guess, I would say most of those sales were on eBay. Okay, this next one is a surprising one, and this isn't really a brand. This is just something that I categorize as a brand on Poshmark, but it's not really like a true brand. And that is vintage pieces. So I think everyone does it. Just like where it says the brand, I just write vintage, you know. And I don't know if Poshmark really, I think Poshmark does that just to indicate, you know, it's a vintage piece, whatever, because vintage brands could be like so many different things. It's just, you know. So I had listed 30 vintage pieces, and I sold 26 of those, which gave me an 86% sell-through rate. I think this one was the most surprising because I did not expect the sell-through rate to be 86%. but it was, and I'm really happy with that. The lowest sale that I had was $8, and then the highest one that I had was $85, which this $85 sale was so cool. It was a vintage, like, black and teal, like, suede leather fringe western jacket. It was really cool. Yeah, that sold for $85 on eBay, but, and then obviously you had the $8 sale. So the average sold price for my vintage in general was $25, and that median price was $22. Again, so this sell-through rate was surprising to me, and honestly makes me want to pick up more vintage in the future in 2021 to see how it does, because I think it has a good following. I mean, the pieces are unique, so you can tend to get more money for them. I don't know what that $8 piece was. Actually, I think I do know what it was. I think it was a bikini bottom. I think it was a high-cut bikini bottom, and I sold it for $8, now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, I tend to think you can get good money for vintage, especially like vintage sweatshirts and stuff. So yeah, there's that. Okay, now we're getting into the last two brands. So the first one, and again, these are in no order, so it's not like I'm building up to anything, but we have Madewell. So Madewell, I listed 30 Madewell items, and I sold 21 of those Madewell items. The average sold price for those was $30, and then that middle price was $24. Now my lowest Madewell sale was $10, and then the highest one was $75. That $10 one was probably a t-shirt or something, because I like to pick up their t-shirts. They have like the Whisper t-shirt or whatever. Those tend to sell quickly. But again, they sell them at like Nordstrom Rack and stuff, so you're not going to get a whole ton for them, so only get them at the bins. But then there was that $75 sale, which is not super typical. It's just something that I actually thrifted at I bought at Marshall's for $12 on yellow tie clearance, and they were a really sought after pair of Madewell embroidered, I think are they the Easy Summer Jeans? I think they were the summer jeans or whatever, or I think it's the Perfect Summer Jean or whatever, and they were embroidered. They're really cool, and these are a pair of jeans that got offers on all 3 platforms, plus when I posted them in a YouTube haul video, I got comments on the video asking if they were still available. So they were a really sought after piece, but I wouldn't say most of my Madewell goes for $75, so again, that's more of like an outlier number. But yeah, I would say it's pretty accurate though that the mean and median is between $24 to $30. I think that's pretty accurate, and that's what I would expect from Madewell. And yeah, the sell-through rate was 70%, so that's pretty good. All right, the next brand we're going to talk about is Jam's World, and that is the last best performing brand of 2020, but then we have the honorable mentions coming up. But yeah, so Jam's World, I listed 13 items, and I sold 10 of these items. The lowest sale for Jam's World this year is $23, which is great because even the lowest sale was above my average sales price, and then the highest was $45, which is also pretty good. So I mean, it's not as high as some of the other ones, but it's a consistent high dollar seller, well, a decent dollar seller depending on what you think is high, and you know. So yeah, the mean was $30, and then the median was $27, and then the sell-through rate was 77%. So really happy with that. And so yeah, I listed 13 items, 10 of them sold, only 3 are still sitting in my closet. So, and they're gonna sell eventually because Jam's World is just a good brand. So yeah, there is that, and that is the last brand for my top 10 performing brands of 2020. But now I think we have 10 more brands to go through, which are honorable mentions. This, I'm basically just going to be going through how many of them I sold, what the sell-through rate is, and the average sold price. So let's get into those. So now we're going to talk about Chicos. So Chicos is a brand that I didn't start picking up till around May, I believe. So I only really picked it up the last half of the year. I got it in a bag of donations, and obviously it was free, so I just listed it. And it all was selling pretty quickly too. So I decided that I was going to start picking up Chicos. So when quarantine ended and I could go back to the thrift store in the bins, I started picking up a lot of Chicos. And I sold 48 Chicos pieces in 2020. But again, that's mainly the last half of 2020, you know, post-May and post-May. So my average sales price for Chicos is about $17, and my sell-through rate is 68%. So it's a really good sell-through rate, I think. And $17 is good for me because considering I'm only really picking it up at the bins and maybe my $2 thrift store depending on what the item is. I mean, I just bought a bunch of Chico shirts for $2.50, but they're the ultimate tees, and $2.50 is probably the max I'd pay for those, but they're an item that is going to sell really quickly. I know these shirts, I've sold a ton of them, and they always sell within under a week for about $15. So, you know, you just kind of got to learn these brands and what you're willing to pay up for. You know, certain pieces you pay more for, whatever. So anyway, 68% for Chicos. Pretty good. All right, now we're going to get into American Eagle. So American Eagle, I sold 69 American Eagle items. My average sales price was $16, and my sell-through rate was 75%. So that is pretty good. And again, I would like to do a bigger breakdown of American Eagle because why? Okay, I think the reason it's only $16 is because I think the jeans, if we're just to like gonna break down American Eagle and you looked at just how much the average sales price were for the tops versus the jeans, I think if we were just doing jeans, that American Eagle would have a higher, probably higher sell-through rate, and it would probably have an higher average sold price as well. But I kind of pick up all American Eagle, like the sweaters and the tops, which don't go for as much, which probably brought down my average sold price. So again, you just gotta kind of, I think I'm going to do videos diving into these brands, especially these big bread and butter brands that everyone talks about, because again, there's a lot more detail that goes into them. But yeah, 69 sales, $16, 75%. Considering I only really pick this up at the bins, I don't even really pick it up in my $2 thrift store. It's mainly the bins. I'm happy with that. All right, the next brand I'm mentioning, I did the numbers on it and I was like, maybe I shouldn't even mention this, but I'm going to mention it anyway because I had some thoughts about it. So it is Express. So this is another brand. I didn't really pick up too much Express until this year. I had bought a bag, I bought like 2 trash bags of clothes from a lady during the Florida lockdown, and she basically just told me she had like a bunch of mall brands. She said Express, Victoria's Secret, like I don't know. She just named things. And I was like, okay, here. I gave her $100 for it, and she gave me an Express bag, and I made about like $300, I think, in profit off that lady. Like I made good money off the stuff she gave me. And yeah, a lot of it was Express, and I sold a lot of her Express pieces. So then when quarantine ended, I started picking up a lot more Express, and I think that's where I messed up, because I was just kind of picking up all Express, and it didn't do as well. So my average sold price for Express was about $15, which, I mean, if you're looking at American Eagle, 16 is not like that far off. It's okay, but I think that's like the lowest I would like to go. Especially when you combine it with the sell-through rate, which is 53%. Now it is over 50%, which is great, but at the same time, that means about like, if I list 100 Express items, say next year, 53 of them are 50, let's just go with 50% because it's easier for me to compute math in my head. If I list 100 Express items in 2021, I'm going to have 50 of them still sitting in my inventory. I'm going to sell 50 of them, but I'm going to have 50 of them taking up space in my inventory. That's like half of a bin. Like if you, oh yeah, by the way, I just recently did a storage unit tour where I go through my storage unit, and you can see like the bins I keep my clothes in. That's like almost half of a bin, or 60% of a bin of Express pieces that are just going to be sitting there. And like they're eventually going to sell for like $10 to $15. Is it really worth them taking up that much space in my inventory? So I think I'm going to be a lot more careful with Express in 2021, only be a lot more selective with it, where this year I just kind of experimented and bought a ton of it. I think we're going to be a lot more selective with it in 2021. So there's that. The next brand we're going to talk about is Nike. So Nike, I sold 39 Nike pieces, which I honestly didn't think Nike was a bread and butter brand for me. Like I did not realize I actually sold so much Nike this year. But I sold 39 Nike items. The average sold price for those were about $16, and the sell-through rate was 87%, which is amazing. The reason I did not include this in the above like top brands was because the average sold price is under my average sold price in general. It was $16, whereas mine's $22. So I mean, the average sales price is not amazing, but an 87% sell-through rate, I will definitely be picking it up. And again, you can get more pieces get more money for pieces depending on what the item is. For like example, basic Nike stuff is not going to go for as much as Nike Tech pieces do. New with tags Nike Tech pieces is obviously going to go for more money than regular Nike Tech pieces. So it just really depends. Yeah, 87% sell-through rate. I'm going to be continuing to pick it up. Nike Tech, I might pay up for when I go to regular thrift stores and all that stuff, but at the bins, but like regular Nike pieces, I'd only kind of stick to the bins to get that stuff. Okay, now we're getting into one of my favorite brands. Even though sell-through, my average sale price is only $12 for this brand, looking at the sell-through rate, I was really surprised it was this high, and that is Old Navy. So I had 37 Old Navy sales in 2020, and the average sold price is only $12. You're probably thinking, that's not really that great of a brand. But my sell-through rate for Old Navy is 95%, which is amazing. 95% sell-through rate, that is super high. So I think the reason it's so high is because even though I do pick up a lot of Old Navy, I'm selective with it. So I think that's why the sell-through rate is pretty high. So I'm just going to continue do what I'm doing with Old Navy. And yeah, I'm going to continue selling 95% of the Old Navy I pick up. And even though it's only for $12, I pretty much only pick up Old Navy at the bins. So, you know, that's really not that bad. It's just, again, that's an example of a really good bread and butter brand. And honestly, if you're a Poshmark seller, like strictly a Poshmark seller, and you're watching this video, I don't know if I would necessarily recommend picking up Old Navy. I would say if we were to really break down Old Navy based on where I sell it, it probably sells the best on eBay. I don't really have proof and numbers of that, but just kind of going off the top of my head, that's kind of what I'm thinking. It sells the best on eBay. So again, if you're strictly Poshmark, I don't think I would pick this up, but yeah, there's Old Navy. Okay, now we're going to talk about Victoria's Secret Pink. So I actually split up Victoria's Secret Pink and then regular Victoria's Secret. So, Victoria's Secret Pink, which is kind of like the Juniors line, I sold 32 items, and my sell-through rate was 73%. So that's pretty great. And the average sold price was $16. So it doesn't sell for a whole ton of money. It's just one of those good mall brands, I guess. I mean, not even, like $16. It depends. I always sold a lot of Victoria's Secret Pink bikini tops, and I sold a lot of like sports bras, bralettes, whatever, and that's gonna make your sell-through rate go down. But if you're strictly selling like the leggings and like new with tags leggings or new with tags bras, it might, you know, it could be higher. It's just what I'm picking up gave me that 16% average sell-through rate. So I'm at $16 average sell-through price. So yeah, there's that. I still like to pick it up at the bins and all that stuff. So there's that. Alright, the next brand we're going to talk about is regular Victoria's Secret. So I had 47 Victoria's Secret sales, and my average sold price for them was $17, and the sell-through rate was about 70%. So that, again, pretty good. It's pretty similar to Victoria's Secret Pink. I mean, like $16 to $17, 70% to 73%. They're very similar. Again, I sold a lot of Victoria's Secret bras, used bras, you know. I sold a lot, so not new with tags. I think new with tags bras you can get more money for because they do retail for a decent amount. So, but the used bras you're not going to get as much for. So I sold a lot of bras. I sold a lot of bikini tops, which again brings down your average sales price. And just in general, like their clothes, you know, it just, you know, 17 is pretty accurate, I feel like. So there's that. I'll continue to pick it up. 70% is pretty good, so that's a great brand. Okay, the next brand we're going to talk about is a Lucky Brand. So a Lucky Brand, I did 31 sales of Lucky Brand, and my average sold price for it was about $17, and my sell-through rate was about I was reading the wrong one. The average sold price was $18, and the sell-through rate was 74%, so that's still pretty good. The sell-through rate's pretty good. I mean, it looks like most of my items have about like a 60 to 70% sell-through rate. So yeah, $18. Happy with that. Lucky Brand, again, I say all these items I pretty much pick up at the bins, but it's true. I go to the bins for a majority of my inventory, which is why I say that so much. But yeah, I try to stick to this at the bins or my $2 thrift stores, so I'm not investing a ton of money into these brands, which is why I don't mind selling them for a lower amount. So, and maybe because I do sell them for a lower amount, that's why the sell-through rates are high. You know what I mean? So yeah, 74% sell-through rate, $18. I'm going to continue to pick it up at the bins. I mean, the only time I really I don't even think I ever really do pay up for Lucky Brand. I recently sold a Lucky Brand shirt that I paid $4 for, but it was at a Marshalls and it was doing tags, and I was like, why not? And yeah, it sold for like, what, $20? Anyway, we're getting off topic. Okay, and now the last brand we're going to talk about. This is a long video, but I think it's really great to break down this information. And again, maybe these are brands that you wouldn't, or if you're a bin shopper and maybe you're like, oh, well, I never really considered picking up Old Navy. Now you see, okay, well, this girl has a 95% sell-through rate. Let me experiment with it, and it turns out to be a good bread and butter brand for you. You know what? This is why this video is good. It's good, just like educational. Maybe you'll pick up more brands that you never really picked up before, and yeah, increase your business. So anyway, the last brand we're going to talk about is Torrid. So Torrid, I love selling Torrid. I always say it sells really quickly and really well, and honestly the sell-through rate just kind of proved my point. So I had 48 Torrid sales in 2020, and my sell-through rate for them was 89%. So 89% of inventory I listed sold, which is amazing. Super happy with that. And the average sold price for those pieces was about $19, and this is pretty consistent with what I say when I like show off Torrid pieces. I typically say like, oh, you're not gonna get like, it's not like a huge retail price, you know what I mean? You're not gonna get a whole ton for it, but it always sells really quickly, which is why sometimes I am willing to pay up for it. And again, if you really broke this down, okay, for example, I have a whole ton of Torrid jeans sitting here. I just filmed a haul video, and I bought 6 pairs of Torrid jeans, $5 a piece. Or did I put 5? Yeah, no, I bought 6 for $5 a piece. So that brought me like $30 for all these Torrid jeans. But even though my average sales through rate, even though my average sold price is about $19. You're probably thinking, why did she pay $5 a piece for those jeans? Well, it's because if you really broke it down, you looked at my Torrid jeans, my average sold price for jeans specifically from that brand is probably a lot higher than $19. I recently just sold a pair of Torrid jeans for about $30, and then before that I've sold Torrid jeans for, again, about $30 as well. But just in general, when we're looking at the brand, it's about $19. But again, I'm thrifting a lot of Torrid t-shirts. Like these jeans, I don't really sell a ton of Torrid jeans. Mostly I sell t-shirts and stuff like that, or like, you know, dresses, whatever. So $19, there we go, 89% sell-through rate. And that is the end of this video. I really want to make sure there's 10 videos, so when I do the title 20 brands of 2020, well, I'll be accurate. See, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Oh my god, it's only 19 brands. That's okay. We're still gonna call it the 20 brands of 2020. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really liked doing this video. I kind of want to do more style videos like this where I'm going down into numbers and breaking down brands, just because I think it's really helpful. Haul videos are fun and stuff like that, and like, but I mean, what if that items don't sell, or what if I'm buying them for too much money, you know what I mean? So I think this stuff is really good because it really gives you a good general overview of the brands and whatever. But I think I'm gonna do in 2021 brand, like breaking down brands type of video. So I hope you guys will subscribe down below if you were interested in watching those, and yeah, hit the like button, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.